Welcome to Movement Lesson, the place where optimal development begins.
I just want to mention, even I heard from you and Michelle, don't push or poke a part of the body of your children or something like this. I was working and I find myself, no, I'm just pushing. It is not rotation in my hand. And suddenly I found myself, I'm really turning and it is a rotation in my finger. I said, oh, it is the first time that I feel I have rotation in my finger. It was really, for me, it was a very nice feeling that I'm not just pushing and forcing part to go for this movement. And I said, okay. Erin and Michelle tried and said it for many times, and it was just the first time that I did it. Oh God.
Oh,
That was a nice moment.
no, I've had so many experiences like that where, it's like, okay, Michelle says this, let me just try and do it. Okay, Michelle says this, let me, and then when it happens, it's so cool. But that's what's really hard to explain to parents because you're telling them what they're looking for, but they don't know it until like it happens. And so now that you have the reference, you're like, oh, this is what they're saying. Like, this is what they're
Exactly happened to me also. And I said, oh, it was the thing that they said. And I said, okay, it is the matter of doing it, just doing it. And then it comes. I'm sure. I'm
well,
sure.
and just trusting in the process, you know what I mean? And so that's what, in your particular place where we're saying, like, if you're feeling like you need to push and you need to push, like, you go more gentle and you try to rotate. And sometimes it's not always you, right? So it's the first time, you're saying that you're feeling it, but at the same time, when you have gentle touch and you touch with rotation, you're making changes. But it may have been the first time that your daughter, sorry, it's recorded, so I don't know if you want to say her name, that your daughter is like, okay, like, I trust you and I'm going to do what you ask. Like, the body can just be as stubborn as we are. Like, you try to teach, you try to teach, you try to teach, and until the body decides, like, fine, I'll do what you're asking me to do. And then it's like, oh, this is really nice. You've been telling me to do this the whole time. And so, sometimes it's you, but sometimes it's also just the person's body being like, no, this is the way I know how to move. This is what I know to do. This is what, like, and I'm scared to do what you're asking me to do. And because you're persistent and you're working with her, she's finally just like, okay.
And it also happened from your last Zoom because you were working with your daughter on standing position. You were working with her hips. And then I always try to do it when my daughter try to wash her teeth in the bathroom because it's the only position that she is standing there and I have lots of time to do it.
Yeah.
And I always, because she bent her knees when she is on the standing position, and it was really hard and make scissoring.
Mm-hmm.
And then it always make me really uh, frustrated. I have to push the knee from inside and push the hip from down to top. And it's sometimes really so hard because she has a spastic. And I said to myself, okay, go with rotation and do very small movement and then without any force because I feel pain sometimes in my hand because it means, oh, it is too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I did very with a gentle touch and very slow motion movement. And without any force, I could open her knees. And I said, oh, again, it was that.
I love it. I mean, I know what I know. Michelle's really good. She's just like, I know the process. Like, I just don't force it. But I still catch myself where it's like, I just want you to go. Okay, no. Just do gentle touch. And no, it's true every time. Like, I was actually just doing that on Kenneth, my baby, this yesterday because I was working with torque in his system, and it was just like I wanted to force it, and I was like, no, I just have to now. There's a difference between forcing it and encouraging it. So sometimes the person can still be reluctant to move, but they're willing to move. Whereas when you have force, it's you're pushing one way and I'm pushing back. Whereas the other way, it's like, you know, I can move in the direction you're telling me, but I'm not sure what's going to happen. And do you have me? Am I supported? If I go do this because it's outside of my comfort zone, is it going to be okay? And so, you know, with him, I was really having to do a lot more of that, of being like the encouraging of like, yes, I'm going really gentle, but like, this is the way that you need to move. And once he just allowed me to once he was willing to follow that encouragement, like his body just melted into my hands and was like, oh, okay, I can do this. Like his head control improved. I mean, even just like his whole like spinal support was better. Like it was amazing. It was so cool. But you know, I have to do that all the time too, to be like, okay, if I'm forcing, I want to go gentle, but you know, also be encouraging and to be stuff like that. So that's awesome. I'm glad you were able to have that experience. Like,
And I love your Zoom. They are to the
thank you. Thank you. I realized this last week, I was like, in the Zooms, we need to have just like 5 minutes where it's, you do it on yourself and you just try, you know what I mean? Like that was having a lot of the parents being like, oh, I never thought to do that on myself. Like, let's just do it right here. And like, they're immediately starting to feel like what they, you know, what their child's feeling. So cool. But okay, awesome. Well, thanks for catching up, and we'll see each other next week. Okay.
Okay. Have a nice day.
Yep. Bye.